it's time to harvest a few goats. This is something that we've been looking forward to because we're going to harvest 5 goats right now, and they are ready. Our goat resale market in the area right now is really, really soft, and it's just not worth the effort of trying to sell them for a little bit of money that is less valuable to us than having the meat. So I've got my scaffold set up, and I'm going to use that as my hanging trestle. So we'll string the goats from there, we'll hang them down to be able to get them processed. I'm basically gonna treat them just like doing a deer. I'll probably give them 2-3 days hanging, probably 2 days hanging, and then we'll quarter them and break them down and process the meat. I'm gonna save you all the watching of the dispatching and we'll go from there. Holy cow, that was a lot of work. Let me turn on the light real quick. I've got 5 goats on the rack, and they're big. I'm really impressed with the meat quality. I was blown away at how much caul fat, just how much fat they had stored up in and around the organs. So that's good. I may not have to buy any fat for the grinder. I know a lot of people don't like looking at all that stuff. I don't bother showing that, and it's the messy part. So got it all done and it's all cleaned up. I'm gonna bring that rack inside here. It's supposed to drop into like 29, 26, something like that tonight. Roll this rack in and let the temperature drop inside the shop here. So I'd love to see it around 40 to hang these meat. I'm gonna let this meat hang for probably 2 days. It's Thursday night, so probably Sunday morning. There's a lot to process there. Most of it's going in the grinder. It should go pretty quick if it's all going in the grinder. If you're not terribly interested in the butchering process, I get it, it's not for everybody. Skip ahead a little bit because I wanted to get you into more of the creative, tasting, fun part of it. We're gonna dive into a couple of recipes that I have put together over the last few years of just playing around with flavors and seeing what I like the most. We're gonna try to get through all 5 of these goats today, the boys and I. I don't know how much I'm gonna bother with filming because I really need to put my head down and get work done. Everest has done very little meat cutting, but he's gonna crash course into deboning today. He learned his first little bit of butchering was when we did the chickens. Today I'm gonna separate and quarter and break these down, and he is gonna start deboning and getting the meat off the bone so that we can get it prepared to go through the grinder. Most of this is gonna get ground up. We're gonna save some of it for kebabs and some of it for stew meat and a couple of roasts. Otherwise, pretty much everything else is going through the grinder, so it's just gonna get cut off. Okay, we got through all the main initial processing steps of the goat meat. So I wrote it down as I go because I don't have any means of weighing on the hook right now. So as I broke them down, then I weighed it and everything like that. So we've got 8 bone-in neck roasts for a total of 22¼ pounds. We packed up 7 packages of stew meat at about a pound each, so 7.2 pounds. We did 10 individually wrapped racks of ribs, but that's 20.2 pounds. So that's pretty good. A little over 2 pounds per rack is a thicker rib than I expected. That's all the bone-in and or pre-packaged kind of stuff. Neck, stew meat, and ribs. Everything else went through the grinder, mostly because we really wanted to make some beer brats, 2 types of breakfast sausages that we prefer, and then just some good burger. We did sample a little bit of the meat. We took one of the back straps. We just cut it into like steak bites and pan-seared it and had it for dinner last night. I was just really surprised at how beefy it was. I expected it to be a lot more like venison, and it just isn't, not at all. We raise these goats wild. We feed them hay, but they are wild. We put them in the pasture. they browse all year long, even in the winter. And we supplement them in the summer so that they're not so hard on the pastures. But they're eating all the brush, all of the undergrowth, all of the tree buds, things like that. So I was surprised to see this come out a lot more like beef. We're gonna do 2 different recipes that I'm showing here, and that is, one of them is an herb breakfast sausage, and then the other one is an Italian spicy sausage. And then we are going to do a burger and a beer bratwurst. So I'm gonna mix up the meat for both of those just into burger for now, and then I will go in tomorrow and pick up the things I need for the beer bratwurst, and we will get that all seasoned up and ready to go in the fridge for a 24-hour cure before we go to stuffing in the casings. My grinder has 3 plates, coarse, medium, and fine. I don't know the numbers, but that's about a 1/4 inch hole. I grind everything through the coarse grinder first, and then I mix it together and incorporate it at the ratio that I'm going for, and then I re-grind it on a medium grind. The medium grind is the familiar texture size that I like. It's just what we prefer. And so that's what we finish grind with. But I find if I do all the mixing on a coarse grind, I can get the flavors, I can get the fat and meat ratio mixed up good, and then put it through the grinder, and then it all incorporates really nice into a good finished texture for burger or sausage. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have friends that were avid hunters. Our family was fortunate enough to be the beneficiary of the excess meat that they hunted. So we received a lot of wild game meat. It really helped feed all of our children when they were growing up. I didn't have any means of dealing with it other than just figuring out how to process it and cut it up in ways that we could use it. It wasn't something that we could afford to just go out and pay a butcher shop to pack and wrap wild game for us. It would have made the meat more inaccessible for us at that price. So I just had to do it. And I can't tell you how thankful I am to have this shop now because of the ability that I have to do it and the controls and everything I have to do. I used to have to do it, no joking, hanging in the tree in the backyard and then bring it into the front porch to set up and try to get through processing there, and coolers and fridge and kitchen and all this, like overtaking the house for days. And it's nice to have this out here where it is. So I'm not gonna bore you with how I process and do the butchering part. It's just whatever I can do to get it done. That's all it's ever been. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the herb breakfast sausage. And I got my little scale, I've got my ratios and my measurements and the ingredients all written down on the board there where it's easy. I can quickly just glance over and see exactly what I need. So I'm gonna weigh out the fat in this little bowl, and then the meat I'll weigh on a different scale. I've weighed the meat in the lugs, so I know what the 2 meat lugs of ground meat I have, what they weigh. So I'm gonna just take the fat, add it in. On the herb one, I'm targeting a 25-pound total mix. And on the spicy sausage, I'm going to target a 30-pound mix. So I'm gonna add the fat that I already have written down on my ratios. I'll add that to this bowl, put it in here, and then add meat to get to the weight that I want. And then I'll add my seasonings after that. 3 pounds of fat. Right about there. Okay. So I'm going to shoot for a total target weight of 28 pounds. And I know this tub was around 42 pounds. 28. So 25 pounds of meat and fat combined. I know I said this was targeting around 87%, but you can see clearly in that grind there's plenty of fat incorporated in that meat already. So that means we're going to probably actually be hitting around 80%. I don't usually show it, but I always keep a bucket of hot soapy water and a bucket of hot, slightly bleached rinse water. Okay, now this one we're going to target 30 pounds total. All right, so this one we're going to have 3.5 pounds of fat. Okay, 3 pounds, 8 ounces. All of this fat was harvested from the goats. All right, now, this one we're going for a total 30 pounds. We measured the bowls, so we know they're 3 pounds. So we're gonna go for a total weight of 33 pounds. 26.5 pounds of meat and 3.5 pounds of fat. Okay, let's get that part done. Now the rest of this is going to be burger. I think I want to weigh that out. Okay, so let's get to mixing. This is herb sauce, this is spicy. So for the herb one, everything's quarter except for the paprika and garlic, which is an 1/8. And I don't have an 1/8 cup measuring, so I'm just gonna eyeball halfway. 1/4 cup thyme, 1/4 cup dill, 1/4 cup sage. In my opinion, it's the sage that makes it a really nice breakfasty quality. Paprika and garlic. This one's I'm gonna estimate because it's 1/8 of a cup. And this is garlic powder, not garlic salt. All right, now the salt. And I don't care, people get crazy about curing salt or plain salt, iodized salt, whatever, and I don't notice any difference. I don't care. That's it. Thyme, dill, sage, paprika, garlic, and salt. I'm gonna mix that up and then we'll go through the grinder. But before I mix that up and mess my hands and all that, I'm gonna add the seasonings for the spicy Italian. This one is also the same way. Just kind of stumble upon the flavors that I like, the way I like it. 1/4 cup basil, 1/8 cup oregano, 1/8 cup fennel seed, cayenne pepper and black pepper. Black pepper, 1/8 cup, cayenne, 1/8. I might actually do that a little bit. 1/4 cup cayenne pepper. And of course we still have finely crushed red peppers as well. If you got a spicy sausage, it's nice to see the pepper flake in there too. So salt, 1/2 cup salt. Okay. Grab the fennel seed, add that, and then we will hand mix all of this to kind of just get it mostly incorporated, and then it will go through the grinder. Went down and got my fennel seed, and when I got it, I saw my onion salt, and I thought, ooh, actually, I think I want to add a little bit of that. My recipe says 1/8 of a cup. Smelling everything, I'm going to go a full 1/4 cup of fennel seed in there. And then the onion salt is just going to give a little bit. I don't want this one to get spicy, so I'm going to mix this one first. If this one has a little bit of herbs, same with the grinding method. So for you bakers out there, it's a lot like kneading dough. Okay, think that one's good. I'm not seeing any pockets of herbs or seasonings or anything like that, or big pockets of fat. So that's pretty well incorporated. Now this one. If it's not spicy enough in the package right now, I can add a little bit of spice to it when I cook it up. All right, so we're gonna grind this one into the tub, press it out flat, lay saran wrap on it, put it in the fridge. Then we'll grind the next one, get this one done, do the same thing, and then we will ratio the burger and bratwurst together. All this is gonna get mixed, and that's gonna sit in the fridge for 24 hours before it gets packed. And that's gonna allow that salt to work on the meat and that enzymes to work together to get a little bit of a cure going in that meat. That's the difference in my coarse grind plate and my medium grind plate. All right. Some broke. Just broke my knife. Well, that's going to put a damper on this project. We've had a catastrophic failure of our grinder blade. So much for getting this done tonight. Well, that was unexpected. I guess they just don't make this stuff to last forever anymore, do they? I packed away the stuff that we had in the bowls. I covered them cellophane. I press it down to make sure there's no oxygen in there, or very little air if I can. It just helps keep it fresher better. This is the remaining burger and bratwurst, the two split evenly. I know we had 25 pounds in the herb sausage bowl, and I know we had 30 pounds in the spicy sausage bowl. And these two are both weighing out right about 40 pounds each. So 30, 25, 40, and 40, gonna put us at 80 and 55, so 135 pounds. So I'm gonna pack all this up and see what the heck I can do about getting a new cutting blade. Probably gonna have to order this grinder. So I was able to find the replacement cutting blade for my meat grinder, but I wasn't able to find it locally, so I had to order it. It's gonna be a couple of days out, and we're gonna be out of town this weekend. So I'm gonna just put everything in the freezer. It's less than ideal because it's gonna be a big fat brick to try to thaw. I would prefer to do it all this way and pack it and then freeze it once, but it's still gonna be just fine to do it that way. The only thing I've got left is this meat lug, which we're gonna do the beer bratwurst seasonings. So we're gonna season that up, get it all mixed, incorporated, pressed back down and covered again with the plastic wrap like this. And then I'll put it in the freezer as well. When we get back, we will have some small, like 1-inch casings, natural casings that we're gonna use to stuff this and tie them off into rods. This recipe, it's approximately for 40 pounds. So we got 1/8 cup of sage, 1/4 cup of cayenne pepper, 1/3 cup of mustard seed, and then equal parts for a total 1/2 cup, which is basically 1/8 cup each. Nutmeg, cardamom, mace, and paprika. And then 1/3 cup onion. And in this case, I'm using onion salt, so I'm cutting the salt level. So we'll do 1/3 cup onion salt with 2/3 cup salt instead of 3/4 cup of salt. We've got beer. It's pretty nice. It's really dark ale with a little bit of spiciness in it, so I think it'll be a good one to this. We're gonna put 2 bottles of beer in this for 40 pounds. That's gonna make it pretty wet. That's gonna reabsorb into the meat and kind of rehydrate things so that when it's in the casings, you'll have a nice juicy bratwurst. So let's do the paprika. All right, that's it. We're gonna add the beer, but I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing this up in a little bit. And man, that's gonna be good. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not. That's a pretty dark ale. New Belgian enlightened dark ale, brewed with spice, it says. And it's definitely dark and spicy. And I don't know, can you call it a beer broth if it doesn't have beer in it? Maybe if you eat it with a beer. It smells like a beer broth. Let's wrap that up, put it in the fridge for 24 hours, and then I'll transfer it to the freezer so that it can wait for me to get back to it. Well, we've been at it for a little over 2 hours now. Everest has been grinding. I've been packing and wrapping as it's been accumulating. Got through all the herb sausage, got through all the spicy Italian sausage, and we are almost through all of the beer broth. And then we just have another tub of regular plain burger. So we're gonna wrap up the bratwurst and put it back in the fridge to get back down to cold. Everything else is getting packed as we go, and we're rocking and rolling through it. Okay, the last of the grinding is done. And I just kind of pre-form them into roughly what feels like about a 1 pound ball. And that just helps for the packing, so I'm not forming in between each packaging and getting the packing all dirty on the paper. I've got other methods of packing this, and I've tried several different ways. And when I've got a lot to do, the paper's just the fastest. That's really what it comes down to. I've done it in vac seal bags, and the nice thing with that is that when you pack them, you vac seal them down, and then we press them flat. And man, that stores real nicely in a freezer, especially in an upright freezer. I've also got some like little sleeve bags that we can push them down in, and has about a 1 pound line on the bag. That's pretty accurate. And then a taper, and I've used that also, and it works out great. But this is just fast. It's just real fast, and we've gone through 100 pounds plus of burger. That's a lot of packing. So this rolling and wrapping just does faster. Let's get these sausages stuffed. I'll bring it out here and we can pack it up, and then we'll start going.
Okay. I can't wait to stuff your sausage.
Naughty monkey.
I've been waiting to say that because I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to tell you that I was going to say it. I wanted to say it when you pressed record. Hey, that smells pretty good.
Smells like a beer broth?
Yeah. We have to cook them tonight.
Yeah. Got a
And then
trial run, right?
here's the deal. If you cook them tonight and they're not good, we still have to eat them because it's still food. And then you just have to put a lot of mustard on them or something.
They're gonna be good.
They are going to be good. I have not been disappointed with your broths. They're very good. This is the last of the goat processing.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. And this is like, what did they say was sheep's?
Hog.
Hog?
Pig. Yeah.
Pig?
Natural hog casings.
That's pretty cool. And does it rip, tear easily?
It's pretty durable, yeah.
It's pretty durable, you said?
Mm-hmm. Think about when you like bite into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sausage.
Yeah. You have to go all the way up? Oh, I see. Like you're doing the whole thing.
Now I've got to fill this thing up. This is where it will smell really nice, because that smells like beer. Beer broth.
I like that it doesn't smell like goat.
It doesn't, you're right.
No, it does not smell like goat.
Make sure to pack it up and push it down in there, taking the air gaps out,
Okay.
because otherwise
Careful, don't let the meat fall.
those air pockets go right into the casing. typically I've just found that I can kind of pinch it about the length that I want, like that, to kind of separate the meat into the heart, and then you give it a couple twists.
There's dinner. 6 stack, that's dinner. The boys will always eat 2.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool. I'm not sure if I'm helping at all. Okay.
Okay, nice and easy.
Where did Bratwurst originate from? Was it Germany?
Well, I don't know. I think Bratwurst itself, the actual, like a beer brat, is German. I think.
Here you go. Those look so good. They smell good. You're totally right. That stout beer that you had was pretty good.
Right. And we'll let them rest like that, and then we can just clip them with scissors.
Seems like I'm better at this than you are.
I think you are trying to imply lots of things in this adventure here that are not age appropriate.
Look how fast I got that on. And that was like a big one. Big long one.
Well, you're a nurse. I've seen a lot of guys way better at this than I am.
Yeah, but you know what? You got food.
Yep.
You just kind of go like, oh, at least we have food. You think you'll ever go hunting?
I'd like to, because I enjoy it, but
Yeah, we have, I think when you start getting more time and stuff between the years.
that's the hard part, is having the time to do right by it.
Yeah. You think you'll take me hunting?
Tried that once. Didn't go well.
Maybe not right after a night shift. Not on a right off the bat 10-mile hike up the mountain.
I don't know. Do you want to separate them and I'll pack them? 6 per, right? Seems like it works best for us.
Yeah, just because the boys eat too. Yeah, 6 is good. If you have leftovers, you can use it for breakfast with eggs.
Yeah.
Not a biggie. Like maybe 1 or something like that, or a packet for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, let me pack some wieners with you.
Okay. And I know what the kids say about your.
They say nothing. They say nothing about my breakfast burrito things.
About your wrapping.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the way I wrap.
Breakfast burrito.
Yes.
Yep, that's what they say. You make them an omelet, not a burrito.
What? It's working, ain't it?
Well, it's definitely going to be wrapped in paper. That's for sure.
Aw.
Look, you're fine. Look. So bring that up to tip over,
Oh,
and then you do that.
I can do that.
Because that'll help it, and then it'll roll right up.
Okay.
Okay?
For this, for dinner, right?
Yeah, we won't freeze them, but we have to wrap them and pack them. $66.
66 bratwurst in that?
Yeah.
We're not even halfway.
Not even halfway.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have well over 100.
That's great. Well, I think the boys are gonna love, I think the boys are really gonna love the bratwurst. I'm pretty excited about
I'm
it.
excited to
try them. I think it's gonna be
Cook
pretty.
some up.
Yeah. Brat, 2024.
It's quite a bit. We got it in here separated. So we have the herb sausage in one row, the Italian in another, burger, and then bratwurst. We do have a bunch of the bratwurst down in the other freezer, down in the kitchen. And all of the bone-in stuff from the goats is down in the kitchen freezer as well. But 192 pounds of goat meat packaged. That's all weighed in packagings and weighed on the scale once it's wrapped and ready to go into the freezer. So it's pretty awesome.